Hey traders, Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And today we walked into some great action, lots going on. Real quick, let's talk about the spiders. And we know that they close strong. They're all-time highs, just keep on going higher and higher. Just thought I'd mention it. Market is really strong, up almost 3% in a matter of 1 week, and really doing well. Maybe we get some sort of a relief pullback. Let's see what happens there. But strong market causing lots of things to go up, including a lot of the low float names, and we love that stuff, right? So I think we can attribute a lot of the crazy action we've been having to the market just being that way. And today we had MYSZ that had some good news with regards to some of their products and got a nice pop. Former runner, we know this one really well, and that's how the daily looks. And looking at the 1 minute, I started looking at it pre-market. I didn't trade it pre-market, but I started looking at it pre-market. This thing had a run up Friday going into the close and pull back. So it's got some good action, right? Where it's going up, healthy pullback, about half the move up. It retraces back and starts to drift upwards. That's good. That's healthy. And then pre-market, we're running up, putting in a double top, pulling back, and we take out these pre-market highs, right? So pretty early. Um, if we zoom in here a little bit, let's see. So looking at that action there, we had the open. There was a pretty big opening washout. I couldn't grab it. I wasn't fast enough. And then it just went sideways. So those are nice 20 cents to be made here on the opening print. I couldn't do that. And then it just started going sideways, 40 to 60, 40 to 60. And then finally broke out. Broke out and goes above. And when it broke out, it goes to 90. And we get a nice pullback, washout into what? Into pre-market highs, into VWAP, and you get a nice hammer here on volume. This is where I bought it, scaled out as it moved up, sold a little bit too early here, but I was okay with it, and I was looking to put on some quick small trades and jump on board this thing that's moving strongly. So made a nice trade there on the long side, and then we get the spot where it goes sideways and the highs are contracting with the lows, looking like a wedge. And I'm watching the tape and I'm watching the level 2, and there's a lot of red prints. There's a lot of green prints also, but there's quite a bit of selling. And I'm seeing this, and the 30 level, it kept on holding the 30 level. But if you look here, it went up, came down, bounced to 50 on this pullback, back to 30, bounced to 45 to 30 again, 25 to 30. But then here it was holding 30 for about 5-6 minutes, and finally it cracked 30 by a little bit, and that's when I got in. I hit the bid for size on, at $3.30, and I got a really quick wash, much quicker than I thought it was going to happen. And I just reacted and I covered within the same bar. This doesn't usually happen, but it was a nice big position and covered it between 310 and $3. It was an instinct reaction. I got out very quickly and I was happy with that, right? So then this thing pulls back, holds VWAP, and still looking pretty healthy. But I remembered that now all the volume that traded here between 330 and 340, everybody who's long there, everybody who got caught in this big drop is looking for a way to break even, probably going to have some resistance there. So I was waiting for the next pop up to that area, and we got it. And at that point, I was re-engaging on the short side. You know, this was a stock that just was a lot of volume, and there was a lot printing on the bid, so it just felt heavy. It looked like they were selling into the moves. Look how long it took for it to drop, and then how long it took for it to rally. It dropped in about a minute. It dropped a little bit more in the next few minutes, and then it took almost from till here, it took about half hour, maybe even more, 45 minutes to put together a smaller rally than the drop. So if stock felt tired, it felt like it's being sold as it's moving up. And I got on the short side again. And here I was giving it till about 41, thinking if it came back to here, it should not get above here. And boom, get a nice big drop again. And this one had some more continuation. And so this was really fantastic on the short side. Two trades, very quick. One was a matter of a minute or so. I got paid real nice. And then the other one, it took a little bit longer, but also a great trade. And then from that point on, it just kept chopping around and looking like it was just out of steam. So it held here, didn't really want to fall apart below the pre-market highs, but it also couldn't get back up. And looking at today's chart, you could see that it's just stuck in that range, right? It had that secondary drop and then it's just chop, chop, chop sideways. I did try it on the short side a couple more times. I think one was a winner, one was a break even, but the big money was made early on. So this one was very nice. Looking at the volume profile, looks like a lot traded between 290 and $3. And tomorrow I'll be looking for that area and see how it behaves there. But, it'd be very interesting. MYSZ, and then another one, GoPro, was a very quick drop early on. I missed a move to the downside early, and then I heard some of the traders talking about, they're laying off, they're letting go 300 people, bringing down the workforce. So I started looking at the stock and I wanted to see if I want to join the trend on the short side or go long. And I started looking at it from right here, 525 area. And looking at the tape, it looked like the bidders kept stepping up. They were soaking up a lot of the selling and they were stepping over each other, penny jumping each other, trying to get those shares. And so I kind of had a thesis that, all right, this move to the downside was overdone. And I wanted to join the move to the upside, but I couldn't get involved on the long side much here because I just didn't want to chase. It never really gave me much of a setup. And then it just made it back to VWAP and started hugging VWAP. So at that point, I was just sitting on my hands, not doing much. It looked like it was curling up here again. So I bought here in this area, the 60s, anticipating that this is going to break the 75, holding above VWAP, curling up, and got a nice pop off of that. Sold into $6, and wanted to see now this level 575 if we can get a pullback to there and hold that support for potentially another move up. And that's exactly what we got. We got that pullback to 580, 575, and started losing momentum to the downside and started curling up. Got some shares here long. There was 500,000 shares for sale here at 580, and we were watching down to level 2, and as soon as that started getting taken out, I started grabbing some. So there was 500,000. I remember buying a chunk here thinking if it goes, I'll buy more. I want to time that offer getting lifted, and it printed through 500,000. It traded about 100,000 and then got rejected. So at this point, I sold some of what I bought thinking if it goes lower, I don't want to have a big position. But when it started holding and coming back and nibbling on that 580 offer again, the next time it started getting hit, I grabbed some more size and was looking to ride this thing back. Or actually, this is the one where it traded. Yeah, so I bought some more here. It went above, and I'm thinking if it holds above that 580, 575 area, I want to stay with it. But it did a shakeout move, came back, so I ended up selling about half. Sold about half the position there, and ended up staying with half, thinking if it gets to 550 and breaks that, I'll get out. But it was just a shakeout. Ended up reclaiming 580, and from that point on, it was just drifting higher. acting really well. So I had a nice trade there, scaled out of some near 6. And then if we can do that, allow us to see what I was seeing. Kept on trading between 6 and 610 and bought back into the dip and then got lucky. How did I get lucky? The CEO, no, the headline came out that GoPro has hired JP Morgan to help them look for uh, individuals or companies that might want to buy them, and the stock ended up ripping up quite a bit. And it's always nice to have a position in the direction of the spike, right? That rarely happens, but when it does, it's fantastic. And so I got this nice spike here to 650, and I'm thinking, all right, there's probably a lot of trapped shorts here. So I stayed with my position. I didn't sell, and I got another $0.50 move here to $7, which is where I got out between 690 and 7. I didn't make it higher than 7, and that was a nice trade there. So um, ended up getting lucky, if you want to call it. Yeah, if those of you who have read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, he talks about pieces of news coming out and usually going in a direction of the path of least resistance. It felt like this thing wanted to go up. The shorts were trapped. It was healthy pullbacks and in a move up, and that's what it looked like. And so I was long and ended up working out nicely on this trade. So two really good trades. MYSZ and GoPro ended up with a really nice day. These were my two main winners, and just glad with how I was able to have size and execute the plan and be able to scale out at the right times and not chase and not get greedy. So I'm really happy I was able to stick to my plan. And we'll see how this plays out tomorrow. We'll see if GoPro will be in play again later on in the day. At this point here, um, the CEO came out and said, no, it's bull. We didn't really hire JP Morgan. It's not true. And the stock took a pretty big drop. And at that point there, I was positioned for, so here, let's look here. So right here, I was positioned. I thought, okay, it was a nice move up, consolidated, and then declining volume in the consolidation. We'd probably get another move up. So I get long here and was able to get a nice lift. And I was anticipating a break of highs. And then that news hit, and I heard it on Trade the News. And I was able to, instead of giving this thing to my stop of below 650, I was able to get out 670, 665, 660. So I was able to salvage the trade because it ended up going much lower, well, a decent amount lower. And then just ended up going sideways. So that was a small loss there on the long side. And I tried the short side here thinking if they're not going to be looking to sell the company, this thing probably goes back down. And it looked like it was going to crack again, but it just ended up chopping and going sideways. And I ended up closing the trade out right around here for a small loss again. So in GoPro, it was a couple winners, a couple losers, but the winners were obviously much bigger than the losers, and ended up having a really nice day. So that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys for watching 7 Points Capital Trader Takeaways.